All right, we got another friend of the show, our boy Vivek. We're going to react to a video he has with, I think, CNN. Apparently, he's defending what it looks like white supremacy. At least that's what it said.
Yeah.
So we're going to check that out and see if we agree with what he has to say.
No, I don't think he's defending it. I think he's saying it don't exist.
It don't exist?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds like some type of defense to me, but all right, we'll see.
Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm TK, a.k.a. Jerry Mandarin.
And I'm Darius, a.k.a. Stokely. And this is Mind the Gap.
I ain't think he was going. I thought you was going to civil rights.
I did.
This is Mind the Gap.
Joining me now is 2024 presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, sir. I want to start with what I began the program with, which is this racist shooter killing 3 black people in Jacksonville yesterday. What is your reaction to the shooting?
It is such a tragedy, and my heart goes out to those families. This should not be happening in the United States of America, and it is wrong. The reality is we have a mental health epidemic in this country. There are reports that this particular individual, the perpetrator, was indeed evaluated for mental health deficiencies as well. And I think we need to have the courage in this country to bring back a practice of putting back psychiatrically ill people who pose a risk to their communities into psychiatric institutions, not just drugging them up, but faith-based approaches and other approaches that fill our longing for purpose and meaning in this country. I think it is just a shame that we even have mass shootings like this, be it the one that happened in Florida, be it the recent one, the Nashville shooter in a Christian school, killing 6 in a school. We have to address that mental health epidemic, and we need leaders with the courage to do it. But my heart goes out to those families, and I hope something like this never happens again.
Which I agree. We do need to help people with mental health problems. But I also think that he pivoted away from like the subject of that question. And I think this is what a lot of times I see, especially people on the right, is when you ask a question that involves race, they kind of make it seem like, although mental health was an issue, he clearly targeted a certain group of people for a reason. So I think that also should be addressed when we having conversations like this. And like,
I thought you was going the other way.
What?
When you said we got a mental health problem, I think we got a gun problem. Like
that too.
So that's why
I'm saying. It's also like there's more than like one problem. He chose to go to mental health, right? And like we need different solutions.
No, I
which
agree with
also they don't help in that regard either. They don't have policies that help that either. And when they get the money to do it, they don't do it. They take it.
You see what your boy, Governor Abbott did? Snatched all them programs.
Yeah, and then had the nerve to talk about, oh, we got a mental health crisis. You don't care about that anyway.
You don't care about that. You just heard about that.
Yeah.
You just heard about that and you just used that. I can't believe he did that when he started. Well, I do believe it, but when he started doing it, I was like, oh, now you talking about mental health. But look at all the money you took out of it.
So I know it's a time crunch in these interviews, but if you're going to talk about mental health, bring up the fact that he had access to the guns. Also bring up the fact that a lot of people seem to be identifying with an ideology that leads them to attack black people.
Yeah.
Like last year, like every domestic terrorist attack was by who?
Whites
and right people who identify with neo-Nazism and right-wing ideology.
No, I mean, he know that.
He know that, but he ain't saying that, and that's my issue. That's what my issue is.
I don't have no issue because that's what he's supposed to do, man. He got to protect his base, man. He trash. It's trash. Don't get me wrong. It's trash, but
Mental health is one aspect of these shootings, and apparently, and we're still learning a lot about what happened. The facts are still coming out. Also, this was very much apparently racially motivated. The sheriff there said point blank that this shooter had manifestos coming, 3 manifestos, and said specifically that he went to this dollar store with the intent of killing black people.
A dollar store, too.
I think that is heinous.
I think they said
called out for what it is.
I don't know how true it is. They said he went to like an HBCU first.
Yeah, I heard that too. And then he got actually turned away. Security guard did their job preventing him from getting in there. And then he just decided to go to a dollar store.
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That could have been ugly, boy.
Yeah.
That could have been ugly. That's the ugly part for me. I was like, yo, that could have been bad.
Could have been a lot of people gone.
That could have been bad, boy.
I'm really glad it didn't happen.
I'm glad it was a dollar store, not the.
Is. The reality is we've created such a racialized culture in this country.
I had to pick between
in the last
the two.
several
I had to pick
years,
between the
that
two,
right as
yeah.
the last few burning embers of racism were burning out, we have a culture in this country largely created by media and establishment and universities and politicians that throw kerosene on that racism. And I can think of no better way to fuel racism in this country than to take something away from other people on the basis of their skin color. I've been saying that for years, and I think that is.
You know who took some?
First of all, who's doing that? Who out here doing that? What is that's news to me. I ain't heard nothing like that.
I know what he's gonna do, man. I know he gonna, cause first of all, the last embers that we were about to stump out, the last embers of racism. No. First of all, stop it. And if he going the way I think is gonna be, the only people that ain't racist are the people that happen to be my constituents. Is the way I think this is going, because it's gonna be like, the people that are really racist are the people that are trying to politicize race and use it as a weapon to galvanize people and get people to rally, like the Democrats do.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand. I don't know, again, with what he's saying. He's at the last embers. The number one domestic criminals who committed the most murders was white supremacist group.
It's a lot of embers.
That's a lot of embers.
A lot of shootings that happened.
You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, maybe he's just been American, but I also would like to go back to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
It was New Zealand. My man went into the mosque and shot everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just had one here in America shot up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't be understanding what they mean when they say the embers or the last little bit. Because for me, if it was the last little bit, we wouldn't even have these incidents. The last embers to me is just like an insult because somebody mad.
Yeah.
Not somebody throwing away your paper because, throwing away your application because your name black.
Yeah.
Not getting 20% more time doing the same crime as your white constituents.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Not being segregated in neighborhoods that are filled with that lack healthy sources of food, that are in heavily industrial areas, pollution, high poverty.
Deserts.
Like,
I don't know.
We got a long way to go before we talk about embers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get that. Like, or maybe he don't know.
There's no way.
Maybe he doesn't know. Because
this brown man who grew up in Southeast Ohio,
he ain't out there no more. That's what I'm saying, bro. People, when you're not around it, bro, I guess you just think it don't exist. You know what I mean? Well, I'm here, so that must mean, that it ain't out here no more.
Mm.
Obama was in office, so racism must be over. Like, no. No.
He's talking about it's bad to take some away from somebody because of color of skin. You know who took something away on the color of their skin? The man just shot them people in that dollar store.
Yeah, that's a fact. I thought you were going somewhere with that, but that's a fact. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Is driving, sadly, a new wave of anti-black and anti-Hispanic racism in this country. I think the right way forward is if we want to stop hate and discrimination on the basis of race, let's stop discriminating on the basis of race and see what unites us.
See, he doing that. He doing the same argument used for affirmative action in schools. You the ones being the racist because you doing blah, blah, blah. You don't really care about that. Who are more racist against Hispanics and Latinos? You think, who you think?
What?
Who you think galvanized people to not even like immigrants?
That's your mans too.
Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about is something that like you say, the people that he think is gonna vote for him is gonna eat up. That's all it is, man. He's making it very digestible for him because all you got to do, man. I think it was Harriet Truman, who said this, and I agree with him. He said, if you can't convince them, confuse them. Mm-hmm. So that's all you're doing. You know these people not going to look up this information that you're saying. They know it's hard for them to keep up when you're talking.
That's switching
from. It doesn't sound good. Like, even with us listening, bro, he's like, he's just jumping to place to place to find something to stick so he can expand that's close to what they ask. It's a straw man tactic, bro. You saying this, I'm going to build up somewhat of your argument so it's easy for me to knock down. That's all you're doing. But if you don't know what a straw man is, or if you don't know how conversations go when people lying to you, or you gullible, or you need something to believe in because you can't find truth yourself, then yeah, bro, that's what's going to happen.
As Americans, because I do not think this kind of racial division and any division is good for us as the United States.
I believe that there are a lot of people of color in this country who don't think it was just lasting embers of racism, but that a lot more work had to be done, particularly given the history of the systemic racism in this country with slavery and beyond. I want to ask you about a comment that you made about white supremacy in Iowa on Friday.
Bro, you've been getting caught up with his comments a lot.
I've never once encountered that yet. I'm sure the boogeyman white supremacist exists somewhere in America. I've just never met him. Never seen one. Never met one in my life, right? Maybe I'll meet a unicorn sooner. And maybe those exist too.
All right.
So
should we let him explain first? Because maybe he got some.
All right, let's see.
just because somebody hasn't encountered one doesn't mean that the notion of white supremacy doesn't exist as a threat in America. What do you think goes through the minds of the families of the 3 victims in yesterday's shooting when they hear you say that white supremacy is basically a fantasy?
I'm sure they're grieving for their loss, and I don't want to politicize those victims. Dana, this is a very sensitive situation where we should have nothing but foremost respect for those victims and not bring them into partisan politics. But I was responding to a question where someone asked me, what racism have I experienced in recent years? And I answered honestly. Most of that racism has come from the modern left. It's happening during the course of this campaign. Kara Swisher calling me Ramaswamy the other day and reveling in making twists of my last name. People effectively reducing me to the color of my skin and my attributes. That comes today from the modern left. But
first of all, if you
think
think
the man that shot up the place was right, and then you didn't, you answered a question. You answered the question they asked, but you still compared it to a unicorn.
Mhm.
You still made it seem like it didn't exist.
Yeah.
When the FBI has, again, for the 3rd time in the show,
Yeah.
that we say have shown and said all murders, as far as domestic terrorists, came from white supremacists.
Yeah.
As far as racially motivated.
I haven't seen one, but he hasn't seen one. And you know, if he was talking about a personal experience, which I doubt, but he's talking about a personal experience, I can't, you know, that's your experience, that's your experience. But once you compare the question to be a unicorn,
yeah,
you are now making it as if white supremacy is this outlandish concept that doesn't happen. And it's clearly he's trying to appease the people in that room.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And it's clear because on another show, he was on what's it, Dan Crawford or whatever, white billionaire dude. Who side note got caught on camera begging to say the N-word, but that's something else. That's a different issue. He was on his show talking about again how like the real problem is, you know, the left, they're the real racists. They're the ones making everything about race. But he was talking about, most recent I've experienced is from black people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he know what he doing. Mm-hmm. Like, he knows what he doing. Like, if it is racism, it's by the black people. But everybody seems to be racist except for the people that he won't vote for. And that's my issue with this. And that's why my issue with him is everybody seems to be capable of racism except for his voters, the people he won't.
That's also a good point. My people good.
Yeah. All these people are fine.
It's y'all that's making
these
the people
that's
voting for me is by unity.
Meanwhile, the people you know damn well be at these rallies calling him Ramaswamy and all this other stuff the same way he talking about them other people do. And worse.
He's doing a great job. He's doing a great job, bro. He is zigzagging out of all of this.
The reality is,
do you
this is
acknowledge,
part of a
that
dogma
white
in this
supremacy
country.
does still exist in the United States?
Answer the question.
I acknowledge that all forms of racial animus exist in the United States, including fringe branches. I mean,
that's a layup. That's a layup.
Oh yeah, dude say yeah.
That's a layup.
He didn't even have to describe it to any particular people. All he just had to say was yeah.
Let me tell you what people do like, bro. A person that's voting, especially like a person like me, I want you to be direct.
Yeah.
When somebody asks you a question, answer it. When you start doing stuff like that, when you say that, you know, I have the unique view of not being in politics.
Mm-hmm.
You brag about that.
Yeah.
But somehow you don't know how the common man works. Like, we will answer the question.
He's being very political with his answers.
Yeah, like
he's speaking like a politician for somebody supposed to be an outsider.
That's a fact.
The way he tap dance and renege on direct quotes and, bro, we got you on camera.
Yeah.
Well, audio.
And by the way, since you don't have no political experience, you didn't have a problem questioning Al Sharpton about his political experience when you was younger. Now you was younger, so I'm gonna let you slide on that. You know what I mean? You could have changed during that time.
Apparently he found the benefit of being an outsider, not having experience.
Al Sharpton told him, I ain't no outsider.
Yeah.
Don't disrespect me like that.
Don't ever do me like that, son. Don't ever do me like that, son.
Don't ever do me like that.
Literally what was at the head of this mentally deranged individual responsible for this shooting, yes. But I think there are many forms of mental derangement that cause us to see one another on the basis of our skin color and our attributes. And I think what we need to revive, Dana, and it's my job as the leader, hopefully as the next president, to do this, to revive our doctrine of e pluribus unum, not just celebrating our diversity and our skin-deep attributes, but celebrating what unites us across that diversity. That's what we've forgotten in the United States of America. Our true strength is the set of ideals that unite us. That's my job to revive as our next president.
But that's
the next generation in particular is so starved for that. Starved for common.
But that's what makes the U.S. unique. The fact that our ideas are so different, that any and everybody can come over here. That is our uniqueness. Our uniqueness is that we are a melting pot.
Yeah.
That is our uniqueness. Now, our ability to not just have ideas from this culture, but from that culture and that culture. So what culture are you referring to?
Oh, you know what culture you want.
Like,
what culture you think should be.
What is the one thing that unites us?
The thing he's asking for is, everybody should forget their differences and come together. I'm like, no, our differences is what we're bringing to this unit.
We want you to respect it.
Yeah, and we can't just be like, if I'm hosting a cookout, and I know you don't eat beef, and I got a homeboy that's Muslim, he don't eat pork, I'm not going to be letting the food touch. I have to consider that. You know what I'm saying? I got to consider that when I'm making laws and I'm trying to work together with other people. How would it look if you come to my cookout, everything beef?
You got to clip back.
Come on, son. We're going to have a problem.
That's a perfect way to put that.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you can tell us the way they operate because they know what they're doing. They're making these laws. They know what they're doing, these voters laws, and they shutting down voter booths in this county. So you got to travel all. They know who's disproportionately being affected.
Yeah.
Let's start with the
bull. But with him, it don't exist. It's a unicorn. That's what it is.
You gotta think of that stuff when you making laws because it's gonna affect people disproportionately.
I mean, but you don't though. I think that's what we have seen, that the fact that you don't. Now more recently, and especially in certain areas, you have to. Yeah. Like I like the two young men in Tennessee. I like the four, the big four, the women. I think they are the ones that do it more, because even Democrats, for me, they don't see it neither. They'll just, they'll try to, what do y'all want? And then you have hot sauce on the bag or something like that. So, yeah. Like they just try to appease us for the moment. As far as like, there are some people.
Bill Clinton playing the saxophone.
Yeah, something ridiculous, man. But I think there are people that do it, but it has been shown that they don't have to. We don't have, we as the minority, a lot of minorities, we don't have just the power to do it. That's why he can talk like that, and it doesn't sound ridiculous to the average American, because they don't get it, and they think the right way is our way anyway. Yeah. So they think that our beliefs and everything is the base of America, and it isn't. Yeah. So when they say, because it's easy to be like, we should just all get along and unify when everything's going along with the way you view things and your plan. Yeah. You don't have to give anything up. It's easy to do that. Because you can hear them when they do stuff like it's an attack on whites. It's an attack. You know what I'm saying? They trying to, what are they trying to do? They trying to give you more jail time? They trying to do that? They trying to take away your ability to get food or work. What are they doing to you? Are they just calling you out? Or they just saying that mostly white people do this as far as attacking them, but you feel attacked? That's what attack means. Like, they don't understand what it really means to be oppressed or have like the system really go against you. What I say, man, the oppressors want to be oppressed so bad. Yeah. It's like you gotta make up a way to like try to level the playing field.
We being oppressed now. Like,
How?
man, you don't know.
They trying to take the guns.
Yeah.
I'll be like, every time they say it, bro, I'll be looking like, what are you talking? Like, even my man said, we shouldn't take away stuff from people based upon the color of their skin. Who's doing that?
Who's doing that?
But he's speaking to his base. That's what they hear.
I just saw that interview he did with Coleon Noir, the gun advocate dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how there, even if they mental deranged, we taking away somebody's rights. And I'm like, look, bro. At some point, we gotta find some like common ground. You know what I'm saying? Because like even in this case, would you not have taken this gun?
Yeah.
Would you not have prevented that from happening in the first place? Like, can we be for real? like where's the but like we supposed to just overlook that and unite when you just like won't even acknowledge that even when you know somebody's certified got problems, you be like, no, we can't overstep their rights.
This is the same guy who said that I have people that can kill you with a napkin.
Coleon, he did say that. He did say that dumb shit. And you know what I'm saying?
He stood on that. He stood on that as if that was a
good point.
A good point for not having a gun.
Because he know himself. If you had to choose somebody with a gun and a napkin, you choosing the napkin.
Bump all that. Like if you was like going into like like an arena that you got to fight, you a gladiator, and they gave you a choice of an AR-15 or a nice folded napkin.
Everybody ain't John Wick or Jason Bourne, man.
I guarantee you this, they'll take the gun. I bet they'll take the
10
gun.
10 out of 10 times.
Come on,
10
man.
out of 10 times.
People just be saying ridiculous stuff, but I appreciate them.
People go along with it, and I don't like that.
I don't like that. I don't like how they stand on that.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree with you, but you at least got to have a good point.
Yeah.
And they don't, man.
A napkin is not a good point.
Commonality, starved for a nation that is unified, bigger than the sum of its parts. That's what we need to recreate in this country. And to those who say the remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination, I say no. The right remedy is actually abandoning all discrimination and moving forward with colorblind meritocracy in the United States of America.
You took it to another level on Friday. In addition to the comment we played, you took issue with comments from Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. She reportedly said, quote, "We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice." About that, you said, "These are the words of the modern grand wizards of the modern KKK." You know, I'm sure, the KKK is responsible for more than a century's worth of horrific lynchings, rapes, murders of Black people. How in any way are the views you're talking about comparable to the views and atrocities committed by the KKK?
What he gonna say? What I said is the Grand Wizards of the KKK would be proud of what they would hear her say, because there's nothing more racist than saying that your skin color predicts something about the content of your viewpoints or your ideas. You didn't just say they would be proud. You said these are the words of the modern Grand Wizards of the modern KKK.
It is the same spirit. You're right about that, Dana. I think it is the same spirit to say that I can look at you.
I'm going to just pause and just say this. This man must be a shaman, because every time he pressed about something, it's always about the spirit.
Listen, man.
It's the spirit of Juneteenth. It's the spirit of the Clan Wizard. He is spirit medium.
You need to stop it.
Let me tell you something. You got a long way to go before you be able to compare it to a Clan Wizard. The KKK.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. You taking that again, straw man tactic, man. That's not what. First of all, that's not what she was saying.
Yeah,
you know, I'm a Black man from a Black neighborhood, so I should know what the Black community needs. And if I tell you what the Black community needs, I am a Black face that's speaking for Black people.
Yeah,
just like if you're a rural white man, a city white man is not gonna have the same wants of you.
Right.
So he can say the same thing. I don't need a white face from the city speaking for for a white face that's in the rural community.
Yeah.
Over here. Like, I don't understand that. Like, again, that's because I think he's confused about what brings the United States together. It's the fact that we are all so different and we all contribute to the betterment of the United States while also pursuing the happiness that we all want, or whatever the case is. I think that's why he has a hard time understanding why.
Or he acts like he has a hard time.
Or he acts like he has a hard time. Like,
I think it's because I think where he's going is because he's a brown man, like, he's going to use like the defense of, because I'm Black, I have to believe this or I have to do but I think there's a difference between, because he can still believe what he believes, but there's also a difference when you obviously are put in that position, but you doing everything to make your constituents feel comfortable instead of challenging them and like actually like letting them know what's really going on.
Yeah.
Like what he's been doing this whole, he's going out his way to not just say, yeah, we got white people and some of them racist.
Yeah.
Like he's doing everything to like not put the onus on certain people to like make sure he gets that vote. And that's the type of vote we don't need. You can still believe what you believe, but actually speak truth to power like you say you do. The evidence is there, like, and it's happening over and over again. Like, so we don't need another brown person up there that's just gonna
do what everybody else.
Yeah, doing because you just doing what everybody else do. You a politician. You're not an outsider. You a straight up politician.
That's something you stood on, and you all sounded like them and acting like them.
Which is funny when Eminem
told him to stop doing.
His response
that was corny too, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Chop using this song, and he was like, he kind of tried to throw a little dig at Eminem. He was like, there was a time when Eminem, he was like, with a real Slim Shady, please stand up, because there was a time when Eminem was a rebel. You know, one day he'll change his mind and come back. And I was like, nah, man.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but yeah,
don't do that.
That's it.
And based on just your skin color, that I know something about the content of your character, that I know something about the content of the viewpoints you're allowed to express. For Ayanna Pressley to tell me that because of my skin color, I can't express my views, that is wrong. It is divisive. It is driving hate in this country. This is dividing our country to a breaking point.
That is a debate that is based on nonviolent discussion. That you just said you're using rhetoric, which she said she's using rhetoric.
You're making young mistakes.
That's one thing. And another thing is to say that she represents and she is a modern version of a KKK, which, as you know, was dedicated to the subjugation and violence against Black people. How on earth is she a modern
anything less than her saying? Unless she just came out and said, "Man, we trying to what a rope at."
Anything
like what did she say?
Anything short of her going on a hanging spree. Like you got so much work to do before you get compared to the Grand Wizard of the Clan, because they don't put in work. You know
I was just saying, bro.
Imagine me getting in a fight with somebody that happened to be Jewish, and like I call them a bitch or something like that, and they like, oh, this nigga's Hitler. Like what?
I don't know where you got that in.
You know how much work I got to do before I'm Hitler.
Hitler will be happy for you.
And that's the type of hyperbole they do, where they go to the extremes. In one breath they quote Martin Luther King, but in another breath they compare another Black woman to the Grand Wizard of the KKK.
I don't like it, man.
Come on,
because they only use like one arguing technique, man. They always use like I say, the main thing that they use is like steel man and then like straw man techniques. You know what I'm saying? They don't even throw no red herring out there. They appeal to the population though. Yeah. They'll do that. But it's just their group, and they think their group is the biggest because they, like I say, they in the echo chamber, so they all think that, all my friends. So I mean, like I say, he's doing a good job right now. And then she's soft. Far as the interviewer, she's soft.
And she ain't really pressing him, like she's just kind of like giving it to him, then just switching to different gears.
And that other guy, who I think is Muslim, that be on here, none of them want any smoke with him.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name, but
something Medesi.
That man, like that, I watch some of his debates. He be on your case,
but he be killing.
And then he'll let you dig your own hole.
Now we're gonna live it. We're gonna live in this moment.
No, that's not what you said.
That's what I like. You know what I'm saying, oh, you mean those quoted headlines? Nah, bro. I mean, it's in the interview, man. I'm tired. I don't know what you want to do. Either you said this or you didn't, bro.
He had a clip. Here you go, right here. Before we go on with you, let's go and listen to this.
Even on Fox, he just be doing that.
Who, him?
Even when he's on Fox, when Sean Hannity was going down, he was like, nope. Everybody, everywhere I go, they direct quotes are wrong. It's like, at what point, bro? Come on, man.
And soon y'all gonna be wrong.
Yeah.
So.
And let's be intellectually honest. Kind of organization.
Let's be intellectually honest and get to the heart of what this debate ought to be about.
Honest.
There is a worldview
that's what we've been trying to get to.
The remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. That if you're Black or brown, you have to have a particular point of view. That's from Ibram Kendi. That's from Ayanna Pressley, the people I quoted in my speech yesterday.
But can you have an intellectually honest conversation when you accuse her of being a Grand Wizard of the KKK? Can you have that intellectually honest discussion?
That wasn't the point. The point was
yes, I can, Dana, because the point The point I'm highlighting is that even the people who, in good spirit, we all agree that the KKK was an awful organization that is a toxic stain in our national history. So given that we can start from that point of agreement, now that allows us to say, well, who actually sounds more like that organization today? The people who are calling for more racial discrimination.
But you sound crazy,
on
bro.
the basis of skin color.
You sound crazy.
So yes, I think that.
You sound
so you
crazy.
saying the woman, and this is one of the things that people understand nuance when it's convenient.
Yeah, yeah.
So you saying the woman who was saying that she's tired of, in one way you can say tokens, but she's tired of, we don't need another person who's going to come up here and be a politician, not a real person, and not speak truth to power. You saying that is comparable to the Grand
that's
Wizard.
exactly what he's saying.
You saying that and that's where you want to start. And this man has to be, first of all, intellectually honest.
Yeah.
And that man is talking about, that's where the starting point. That's not. That's so many levels above
He been
that
lying all
conversation.
week, D. He been calling lies all week. All week they've been catching him. He ain't been right since after that debate. I'm serious, bro. He did good the first half. That second half, he was trash.
He only did good the first half
this.
if you ain't know.
Yeah. But he also did good the first half if you agree with what he's saying.
Yeah.
But I also would say this, though I don't like her policies out, I'm happy Nikki Haley did well.
Yeah, she
showed out.
Yeah,
she showed out.
She seemed
Not to
most
get off
reasonable,
subject,
and she was getting applause. Like, she was coming because I like when she was like, you want to talk about government spending.
Yeah, oh,
you know who really spending the money? GOP got $9.8 billion. You know how much Democrats passed? $2 billion.
Yeah.
So we were talking about spending. Let's talk about spending.
But she did have that comment about that abortion comment about New York. And California. No, she was wrong. She was not even close. Hella wrong. Exaggerated.
But she was playing a game.
She lost that for me.
The whole thing was her playing the game because you can't go too hard to make it seem like you with the left. So it was like that's
too far though, dude. That's a boat. That's just a lie.
Yeah.
That's too far. We'll talk about that though. Yeah. We'll get into that.
Anyway, back on him. We on your head, boy.
But it's not about
sounding for a provocative discussion that we need to have in this country.
The whole point is the KKK wasn't just about rhetoric.
We have to speak openly.
They lynched people. They murdered people. They raped people. They burned their homes.
And that was wrong.
Simply
that was obviously wrong.
Wrong.
Okay,
again,
that is obviously a wrong thing.
If you want to have an intellectual discussion, do you think that maybe comparing her to the Grand Wizard and the notion of what she said to being a modern leader of the KKK was maybe a step too far, or you stand by what you said?
I stand by what I said to
that's a layup.
That's a layup. Discussion in this country. Because
another layup.
There is a gap, Dana, between what people will say in private today and what they will say in public. I think
you right.
And she just went on to the next page. She was like, "Hey, he ain't giving up."
You right.
That.
There is a gap now. What people used to say in private versus they say now, because people say anything like what he doing right now.
Right now,
missing easy layups.
Right now,
even if he was like, you know what, I respect it. He's like, yeah, I said it, but you know what, that was a bit much.
Yeah.
I could have rewarded that. She's not like the Klan member. There's a whole field of difference between them two. I can at least respect that. But this man is like, no. White people are the most purest people in the United States. She's the Klan member. Like, do you listen?
Bro, then what got me is when he tried to make it seem like, well, let's start at an agreement point. They all was bad.
Yeah.
But she thinking like them. Like, nah, not at all. Not at all.
How that make sense?
Not at all.
How does that make sense? How that makes sense?
Not at all.
Just the whole conversation is bonkers to where this man is going out his way to say that white people can't be racist, only for the conversation to end up that the most racist person
is the person that's saying that the people being racist against them. How is that?
Like that is like if you zoom out and like if you had a minute, if you zoom out and just take a look at the conversation, you see how mad that is.
But for me, it's like if you listen to how he jumps around, it's like a car crash, bro. Like it's like a pile up, because it's just like he just going from and it's like how did we get so far away from what I asked you? How?
Training, bro.
We ain't even on the same line no more, bro.
Yeah.
You just that's Vivek. Though.
We need to close that gap. I think we need to have real, open, honest, raw conversation as Americans. That is our path to national unity. And there are many Americans today who are deeply frustrated by the new culture of anti-racism that's really racism in new clothing. And we need to have that debate in the open.
Soft, man. She's soft.
I'm not so sure how provoking a discussion
what many in the media do, picking on some fringe comment in the context of a broader context that I was offering it in a speech.
All right, so you just said
ain't enough context in the world.
This boy ain't none.
Ain't enough context.
And that's for either conversation you're trying to point out right now. Whether it be that the comment about comparing her to the Grand Wizard or that unicorn comment that you had earlier.
Ain't enough context
ain't
in the world. And I hate that
it ain't enough.
Took me out of context. Explain the context where that's gonna make it right.
Yeah. Help me. My bad. I'm sorry. Explain that for me.
Explain it to me.
Yo.
Unless the second half of that clip when he was talking about unicorns, he's like, and that's how dumb people sound.
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the only way.
The clip is unless the clip is psych is like that's not. If it's any other context or something like that, then you look stupid.
That your comment was fringe.
Let's have the courage to confront the meat of that. I'm saying you drew a fringe comment from a much longer speech. As I described you picking one fringe comment from a long speech that I gave to duck debate from the real issue that I think you don't want to have, Dana, because I think you probably agree with me on this, that this is toxic from leading politicians on dividing us on the basis of race.
See, she weak, man.
I think this debate is fascinating and interesting and opening and important. What I did was
I do too.
Explain to our viewers that you were asked a question and you took it to a point where you called a sitting member of Congress who is black, who was having discussions about race, calling her the modern grand wizard of the KKK. And I'm just not sure how that's open and honest discussion.
Yeah, man.
What y'all think, man? I think he trash.
I think he's having fun. I think he done found a way to maneuver. I think he done found his sweet spot. I think he's found his move.
Trump's anus.
I think he found his move on how he can move up. And a way for him to get some quick profits on his business. I think he done found a way. I'm impressed. I'm not. It's sad that he's that good.
Not. He failed into their playbook.
No, he did. But the way what I'm saying is he fell into the playbook, but he like Mahomes right now with it. Like Trump right now, like Tom Brady.
I would say Trump is Eli Manning.
You know what? No, I'm not gonna give you that. Not gonna give.
Trump is launching balls, and they happen to get stuck in people's helmets.
You might well call him Brett Favre, dude.
I'll take that. That man be launching them.
That's Brett Favre.
You win some, you lose some. Okay, you just launch them.
You might well call him Brett Favre for that.
All right, I'm not even gonna disrespect Tom Brady like that, even though he had one of them hands, bro.
Because allegedly both of them steal the money. So allegedly.
That's levels. Levels, bro. Levels. Allegedly nothing. They did. Yeah, man. What y'all think?
Allegedly.
Yeah, anymore?
For them? No, hell no, man. That man ridiculous, man. Let us know what you think down in the comment section. And if you comment weird, I'm on there.
On your head top, boy.
Yeah, man. I'm TK, a.k.a. Jerry Mandarin.
I'm Darius, a.k.a. Stokely.
And this is MINDTHEGAP.